Right now, the story you are being handed is a very clean one. Inflation is cooling, prices are finally coming down in a few places, and you are supposed to nod along and hand the credit to the Federal Reserve, the central bank that sets interest rates, for pulling off a soft landing. A president is claiming credit too, and your grocery store will tell you it is just a nice summer sale. Every one of those explanations shares the same convenient feature. Each of them leaves out the one person who actually changed their behavior. That person is you. I want to put you back in the story because the shelf tags are saying something the headlines are not. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Here's what happened in a single week this month. Walmart cut the price on hundreds of items. Pepsi got on its earnings call and admitted the American shopper is in worse shape than it expected. And fresh data showed riders walking away from Uber over the cost. 3 different industries, 1 week, and not one of them will say the reason out loud. So I will. Prices are bending because tens of millions of you quietly stopped paying. And the companies that spent 5 years testing how much they could charge finally hit the ceiling. Stay with me because I am going to show you the receipts from all 3. The one time in history this exact thing happened before, and the 2 ways these companies are going to try to quietly take the win back from you. And if your grocery bill still feels about a quarter higher than it did in 2020, you are not imagining that. And cutting back was not you overreacting. It was the most rational thing you could have done. And this month, you get to watch it land on a shelf tag. Start with Walmart. On July 6th, it announced thousands of what it calls rollbacks, which is just a temporary cut on an item it keeps selling. A 1-pound roll of ground beef dropped about 12% from $6.74 to $5.94. Sweet corn fell 63%. A 24-pack of Coca-Cola dropped 33% from $14.97 to $9.97. And here is the one that should make you smile. A 24-pack of Pepsi fell 29%, which means Walmart is now cutting the price of Pepsi's own product to get you back through the door. Even more investments in price is how Walmart's chief merchant, Julie Barber, put it. And this was not a one-off. The company had already run more than 7,000 of these rollbacks in the back half of last year, a 35% jump. That is a company that can feel customers slipping. Now, Walmart will tell you this is seasonal for summer cookouts, and some of it is. A president claimed he ordered it, but watch where the real pressure comes from. A discount grocer called Aldi, small stores, mostly its own store brands, is opening more than 180 new locations this year on a $9 billion expansion. Last year, visits to Aldi rose 8%, while visits to Walmart rose 0.5%. 17 million new customers walked into an Aldi, and 1 in 3 American households shopped there. And this was not just struggling families trading down. The steepest drop in supermarket spending came from households earning over $100,000 and from shoppers in their late 20s and 30s. When people at every income start voting with their feet, even the giant has to cut prices to hold them. That is not generosity, that is defense. 3 days later came Pepsi, and this is the admission hiding in plain sight. The consumer is worse than what we had anticipated, the chief executive Ramon Laguarta told analysts on the call. In North America, the company's beverage volume fell 4% and its food volume went flat. And it said household budgets are tightening. It even admitted the impulse buys. The soda and the candy bar you grab at a gas station counter are drying up. Now, Pepsi blamed most of that on high gas prices, which hit a 4-year high of $4.56 a gallon in late May. And that is real, that is part of it. But here is the tell. Overseas, Pepsi just posted its fastest volume growth since 2022. It is only the American consumer going backward. So this is not a Pepsi problem. This is a you reached your limit problem. Because for 4 years, the maker of Doritos and Lay's leaned on a simple bet that you would keep buying no matter the price. A party-sized bag of Doritos went from $3.98 in 2021 to nearly $6, and some bags crossed $7. This is a company that owns roughly 60% of the salty snack aisle in this country, so it had room to push. It worked until it didn't. Sales at its snack arm actually turned negative, missing the company's own targets 2 years running by more than $1 billion because shoppers finally traded down to store brands.
Hey, real quick, sorry to jump in, but if you understand that all of this chaos that's going around us is going to severely affect real estate valuations, and you'd like to be ahead of this game, learn about it, the cycles, when to buy, when to sell, links down below for the real estate crash bundle, 4 courses that I've put together for one insanely low price. I want to earn your business. Check them out. You won't be disappointed. And hey, if you want, within 30 days, I'll blow your mind. If you're like, this isn't going to change my life, Ninja, send us an email. We'll refund your purchase. That's how crazy of a deal it is. All right. Within 30 days. All right. Let's get back to the video.
Economists have a dry word for that moment: elasticity, which just means the point where people stop paying and walk. Pepsi hit it. It got so bad that an activist investor, a big fund called Elliott, that buys a stake and forces change, took a $4 billion position and demanded lower prices. And in February, Pepsi cut the price of its chips by as much as 15%. 3 years of pushing, 1 year of you refusing, and the most reliable pricing power in the business cracked. The third admission is quieter, and it proves this reaches past the grocery store. New data covering more than 500,000 rideshare drivers showed that over the past year, the price you pay for a ride rose nearly 10%, while the fee the platform takes on each trip jumped 33%, and the drivers themselves saw their pay rise less than 4%. The company raised your price, kept the difference, and did not hand it to the driver. So what did you do? 60% of riders said they cut back because of the cost. And the same gas prices are hitting those drivers twice, because the share of their pay eaten by fuel climbed to its highest level since 2022. The pullback is not just at the checkout. It is everywhere the price got greedy. And it is not only these companies. On its own call in May, the head of McDonald's, Chris Kempczinski, said the consumer environment may be getting a little bit worse and pointed at the very same gas prices squeezing lower income families. When the burger giant, the soda giant, the retail giant, and the rideshare platforms all describe the same tapped out customer in the same handful of weeks, that is not a coincidence. That is a confession. Here is the part that tells you this can actually work because it happened before. In 1973, meat prices were spiking, and ordinary people, mostly women running the household budget, organized a national meat boycott for 1 week in April. No app, no hashtag, just empty grocery carts. Enough of them joined that the press called it the most effective consumer action in decades. And the pressure helped push President Nixon to freeze prices on beef, pork, and lamb. But here is the honest part, and it matters. The relief was modest, and it did not last, because bigger forces, feed costs, a weak dollar, foreign demand, were all pushing the other way. The lesson is not that shoppers win overnight. The lesson is that shoppers change the direction, and they did it back then with far less power than you have now. So do not confuse a retreat with a surrender, and do not hand the win back. There are 2 ways these companies will try to take it from you. The first is shrinkflation, where the shelf price looks cut, but the package quietly shrinks. So the real cost per ounce climbs while you feel like you are winning. Your defense is simple. Read the unit price, that small number on the tag showing cost per ounce, not the big number. Ounces do not lie. The second way is time. The moment the Fed cuts interest rates and money gets loose again, demand comes roaring back and your leverage fades, and they are counting on it, which is exactly why the smart move is to keep doing what you were doing while they still need you back. Watch which category cracks next, because airlines, streaming services, and insurance all run on the same math, and the same warnings will show up there first. None of this means the war is over. Your grocery bill is still high. The levels did not fall. The climb just stopped and gave back a little. And gas prices and an activist fund did some of the work right alongside you. But do not let anyone tell you the shopper was a bystander. For 5 years, you were told the price was the price and there was nothing you could do about it. This month, some of the biggest companies in the country blinked at the same time, and the only variable connecting all of them is the one they refuse to name. So the next time a headline hands the credit to the Fed or a politician or a summer sale, go look at the shelf tag yourself. It is the only scoreboard that has never lied to you. And right now, for the first time in a long while, it is reading in your favor. The real question is whether you keep your foot on the pedal or hand back your leverage the second they make it comfortable to relax. Economic Ninja is out.